Does your guitar ever sound as terribly out of tune as this? I'm guessing it doesn't sound quite that out of tune, but if you do have tuning problems, we've got a good bit of news for you today. We're reviewing the Polytune Mini from TC Electronic. Look at it, it's so tiny. So we're basically going to take you through all the features of this, and we're going to put my guitar back into tune. So first things first, let's have a look at quite how small it is by comparing it to another very well-known everyday object. There's the Polytune Mini, and this is an iPhone. So you can pretty much see how tiny the Polytune Mini is there. This is the Marshall Echo Head delay. So
where's the battery?
There is no battery in it. So it's not like the Red Witch pedals, the Seven Sisters, which have a rechargeable lithium-ion battery inside them, and you can't plug normal power into them. This is the exact opposite. You can plug 9-volt power into it, but it doesn't have a battery. So basically it would have probably have to been bigger if it had the function for a battery and a power supply. And now I'm going to use the Polytune function on the Polytune Mini to get it back into tune. So if I just strum all of my strings and actually turn the volume on my guitar, there we go, then it shows you what each string is doing. So yeah, so we're going to focus on the top E, and then we're going to go from right to left, okay? So top E, I'm just tuning back up to green, and there we go. I need to bring the B down. I'm doing that, and the G needs to go up. Sounds pretty good. So obviously, like I said, to get into the Polytune mode, you just strum all your strings. If you want to tune one string at a time, which is a very important feature, then you just literally pluck the string that you want to tune. So I'm on an E. Say I wanted to tune that to a D, as many guitarists would. Sorry, that said B, flashed up B then because I hit the B string by mistake. That was my fault, not the pedals. So now I'm tuned to a D, and I can do the same with the low E string. So yeah, I mean, it's really simple, and you know, they have sharps as well, so if I wanted to get to a D sharp, that's easy. So that's just, you know, good chromatic tuning basically. In terms of, you know, as an actual tuning pedal, it's great. The light display is brilliant because you can see what you're doing. You know, imagine you're on stage and the lighting's not very good. You might have thought because the Polytune Mini is that bit smaller that it would have been harder to read in terms of tuning. But actually, you know, I don't really think it's much different to the Polytune Daddy, we'll call it, the big one. So yeah, it's good in that sense.
Doing it on the floor, Rich?
Basically, I'm just going to show you how to get into different tuning modes. So E, that would be if you strummed all your strings, the polyphonic tuning bit would show you how to get to normal E tuning. So then you cycle through by just pressing this, and G3. What that does is, if I get back up and grab my guitar, is basically, say you had a capo on the 3rd fret, which is fairly common for singer-songwriters, then you might want to have your polyphonic setting to be tuning to that rather than, you know, to E, A, D, G, B, E. So if I play, that's just kind of going a bit crazy at the moment because I'm playing the wrong thing. But imagine I had a capo on the 3rd fret. I don't actually have a capo with me, so I'm going to have to use my finger. But if I just strum all of the strings on the 3rd fret, it's actually showing me how to get my virtual capo in tune. So that's actually showing me that I am in tune, which is useful. So, you know, if you're playing some chords with a capo on, and you finish a song and you've still got the capo on and you just want to check that you're in tune, then you can do that just by going to that setting. Another really useful setting is, if I turn the volume down on my guitar, going to E flat tuning, so a step down. So cycle through, there's E flat. So if you're in like a, I don't know, Hendrix covers band, for example, then you're going to be playing in step down quite a lot of the time. So turn the volume back on, and this will show me how to get into E flat. And through the magic of editing now, I'm sure we'll do some sort of fade and I'll be perfectly in tune. So the other modes are, we can basically do drop tunings right down to B, which is like, you know, metal low. So a quick way to get into drop D is if you flick the tuner on and then hold down the stomp switch, and then it flashes up saying drop D, and then you can just do Polytune mode in drop D. So now I'm in drop D, or I will be when the rest of my strings are in tune. But if you wanted to get back into standard tuning, then you just hold down again, standard, strum all the strings, and you can see my E has gone back up. So now I'm back in E tuning. Like I said, you can go a step down, you can go a step up, you can do the capo tunings right up to the 7th fret. So that would be a B capo tuning. The one thing you can't do is open tunings, but it's not really that much of a problem because you can always just do each string individually, so it's not as if you can't get into open tunings. And I don't play 7-string guitar, but I don't really know what the market's like for 7-string guitarists. I don't know, you know, how this would work on that basis. Maybe you'd have to strum 6 of your strings and then do the B separately. I don't know. So it might be a problem for guys with 7 or 8-string guitars, but those guys are a bit crazy anyway. So
They've got problems already.
Yeah, they've already got problems. I guess one tiny little downside is the fact that, you know, you can't plug a battery into it, but most guitarists I know, in fact all guitarists I know, use power supplies, either power packs or, you know, running daisy chains off of Boss power supplies and stuff like that. So, you know, for the kind of standard guitarist who's going to be able to afford a tuner like this, which is £65 by the way, then I don't think the battery thing is going to be an issue, because once you buy a power supply, it actually ends up saving you money from not having to go through battery after battery. So yeah, and the main thing is it's tiny, but the LED display on it is actually just really, really intuitive, stands out like a sore thumb. It's so small that it actually looks like it's being violated by the jack leads. That's how tiny it is. It just looks wrong. So yeah, for 65 quid, it's a tuning pedal that puts you in tune, and it does it well. So there's not much really more I can say about that. So I just want to say also thanks very much for watching this review. If you want to watch any more reviews or you want to get daily news, we do interviews and features, then come over to sonicstate.com/amped. That's Sonic State's guitar channel. And you can also find us on facebook.com/sonicamped and on Twitter, which is @sonicamped. So please do all of that and hopefully see you again soon. Cheers.